Hello guys, good day and welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing good. So today we'll be making this pencil dress with a corset and a draped rose also. So there will be two parts because I don't have enough space. I'll post the cutting part, then make a video on how to join it. Look at it. This is the way you're going to drape the real rose. So let's get started.
Her under bust is 12. I'm going to add extra 3 inches allowance. That will make it 15 inches. So from here, I'll measure down to 15 inches. So take it around 15 inches. So this is her half length. I'll now get her under bust, which is 12 inches. So the next is to get her bust point. Her bust, I don't have her bust point measurement. So from her under bust, because her round bust is 33 inches, so she has a small bust. So from her under bust, at her under bust line, I'll go up by 3 inches. If your bust is between 39 to 40, you can go up by 4 inches. But if it's small, you can use 3 inches to 3.5 inches, or you can just measure it from your shoulder to your bust point. That is from your shoulder to touch your nipple. Right, so I'll extend the line. So this is a bust point. This is a under bust. This is a half length. So the next thing is to take her shoulder measurements and get her chest line, or you can from the under bust go from the bust point. You can decide to go up by 2 inches to 1.5 inches. So I'll go up by 2 inches to get her chest line. That's from her bust point. I went up by 2 inches for her chest line. I'm not going to be needing this, so I'm just drafting it. I'm not going to be using her shoulder or needing her shoulder for this style. So I'll extend this very well. The next is to take her shoulder measurement. Her shoulder is 16 inches, divided by 2 is 8 inches. So I'll do it. Then I will also take it here and connect the lines. I'm not going to be using this, but I'll just draft it out. So the next is to get your neck width. And the neck width I'm going to be using, I'm not going to need it. I'll just draft a normal body. So I'll take a neck width of 3.3, then the depth also will be 3.3 inches. So I'll do her shoulder slope. I'll go down by 1 inch from here and connect the shoulder slope. So I'll just draw her armhole. We are not going to be needing this for this time. So this is what I have. So the next thing now is to take her bust point to bust point. That is an nipple to nipple measurement. An nipple to nipple is 6 inches. 6 inches. If you are making a bustier, you are going to add maybe 1/2 inch to that 6 inches. That is 6 divided by 2 is 3. So I'm going to use 3. I'm not adding any allowance. I just want to use the exact measurement. But when I'm cutting it out on the fabric, I'm going to be adding 1/2 inch. So on her half length, I'm going to measure 3 inches. I'll also take 3 inches on her under bust and bust point. So I'll connect the lines now with a straight line. I'll connect it with a straight line. So on her half length, I'm going to go out by 1/2 inch, or you can do 1 inch. I'm going out by 1/2 inch, then I'll come in by 1/2 inch also. Then on her bust point, I'll go down by 1 inch. Her bust point, I'll go down by 1 inch. So I'll make it. So I'll connect from her half length straight to this 1 inch line that I came down with. So I'll connect it straight this way. So I'll connect it straight this way. And also connect this one straight. Okay, like I said. So I'll connect straight this way. So after connecting your darts on the underboss line, this not the center line, this darts line from the on the underboss, the darts line. Remember that we have this dart and this dart, not the middle line. So on this darts line that's going towards the armhole side, you go out by 1/2 inch. Then on this other darts line, you come in by half inch. Then you're going to connect it to meet the start. So I'll connect it this way. That half inch, you're going to connect it to meet this other part this way. You're going to connect it this way. You see what I'm doing? So you also connect this one this way too. So this is what we have. This is it. The next thing is to check our shoulder, the total amount we have left on this shoulder line. So I will measure to know whatever I have 4.25. I'll divide it by 2. Whatever you have, you get the midpoint. So I've gotten my midpoint. I'll connect it to the bust point. Remember that this is our bust point. So I'll connect it to our bust point. So this is what we have. So the next thing now is to connect this to the bust point. Is to connect it to the bust point. So is to connect the start to the bust point. So I'm going to connect it with a curve just this way. Is to connect it to this 1 inch. Remember that we came down by 1 inch on the bust point. We went down by 1 inch. So we are going to connect this to this 1 inch line with a curve. So this is it. Also this one, I'm going to connect it also with a curve. So this is what we have. Remember that this is the 1 inch line. So the next thing now is to check the amount that you have left here. After connecting it, you check the amount you have on the under post. I have 1.5. So that 1.5 now, you're going to share it. You're not going to share it equally. So you're going to give the highest number to the part that is going to the side seam, that is the armhole part. Then the one coming towards you, that is the center part, you're going to give it the smallest part. So let's say here now, I'm going to give this part 1 inch. I'm going to give this part 1 inch. Then this other part, I'm going to give it half inch. But before that, on this chest line, I'll go up by half inch. On the chest line, I'll go up by half inch. That's where I'm going to place my that 1 inch. You know that. So remember that you give here 1 inch and you give this other part half inch. So this is the line. This is the half inch line. This is my half inch line. So I'll mark it very well for you to see. Remember that I went up by half inch, so that's the line down. So I'm going to connect this to this. I'll connect it to this line. So whichever way that you feel like it will be okay for you to connect it, or you're connecting it to the underbar. So I'll connect it this way. I'll place my ruler and connect it this way. So also this one, I'm going to connect it also. Then I'm going to draw the curve very well so that it will curve here. I'll place my ruler and make a curve and connect it with a good curve. So this is what we have. But the thing is that here now, just to avoid any gaping. So in order to avoid gaping, I'm going to go out by 1/4 inch, just a little thing. I'll go out here on this part. I'll go out by this, and I'll also do the same thing here, just to tighten the bust chest line. So I'm going to connect it to this point and also connect it here. So that is it. This one also, I'll do the same thing. And that's placing it in a way that will be very easy for me to connect. I've connected this one. I'll try and off this very well. So the next thing is to check the because if you're looking at it now, you notice that this point, this start is longer than this side, but and I want it to be the same. So I'll check what I have here. Remember that this is where the line starts from. So from that line, I'll curve my tape and check whatever I have. So I'm going to measure. Just place your tape this way on that point and curve it this way. Check what you have on the bust point. I have 3.5. So I will measure here. Here I have 2.5. So I'm going to make it. I'm going to extend it to be 3.5. So I extend it to be 3.5, and here's my 3.5. So once you measure here, check the amount you have from this to the bust point, 3.5. Then I'll place that 3.5 on the bust point and get what I have here. So whatever you have, now, you're going to connect it back to this line. So this is our new dart line. So the next thing now is on the chest line, I'm going to go down by half inch, or you can just do it directly on your chest line. I'll go down by half inch, then go out by half inch. So this is it. Remember that when so after doing this, I'm going to curve with my free hand. So I'll connect from here. Maybe I'll follow the line that I have here already. I'll connect this way to your chest line, or you can decide I'll connect somehow with a little curve straight, then I'll curve it this way. I'll curve it. Remember that we have 1 inch line here. Then I will now use my curve. Remember to avoid that half-inch line. I'll now use my curve to curve it this way. I'm doing it directly on my chest line, or you can decide to come up, go down by half-inch. So this is what we have here. I'll connect it very well. So this is what we have. This is the half-inch centers. So the next thing now is to you check what you have in between your shoulder line and your bust, where your bust measurement stops. Whatever you have, where your bust stops, whatever you have, you're going to divide it to get the midpoint. So whatever you have now, you divide it by 2 and get the midpoint. So on that midpoint now, you're going to go down by half-inch. On that midpoint now, you go down by half-inch, then you just connect it. You connect it with a straight line. Then you're going to curve this way. You're just going to place a little curve. Sorry, this is where it stopped. So you're going to connect this way. So from this point that I stopped, you're going to also curve it. You're going to also curve it to this to make the start line. So this is our corset. Our corset is ready. I just ready. Our corset is ready this way. So this is it. It starts simple. So the next thing is to take your bust measurement. Take your bust measurement, replace it, replace the start, check the amount of that you have, replace it. You replace it. Then I'm adding 1 inch allowance because my fabric is stretchy. So also mark your waist. Her waist is 6.75. Replace this 1 inch that, then add your 1 inch allowance. So I'll connect it. Look at the new ankle that we are going to use that line. So I'll connect it this way. So this is just it. I'm going to be cutting it out. Then just cut it out and we are done. So I'll cut it out and use it to cut the back. Watch the way I'm cutting it. So you cut this place. This is the new dark line I'm following. So this is how you're going to cut it. Here you're cutting straight, then you're cutting this way. So once you have it, you're going to separate this one too. So this is the center line. This is the midline. So this is how it's going to look. I'll also do the same thing here. So this is what we have. So this is it. I'm going to make sure that you notch this part. I'm going to notch it. The label is 1 and 2. So I'll trim this part very well. So I'll label it 1, 2. So you're going to join it this way. You pin here, then you pin out this part also. You pin this part. And here you have it. So that is it. So we'll now cut the back. We'll now cut the back. Making sure. So when you pin it, make sure that this part is going to run very well. So if it's equal, it will run. So I'll just do that. You are going to cut 2 pieces of this, 2 pieces of this. It's just a straight that we're doing. So that's it. So the next thing that we are going to do is that we are going to get this pattern to cut the back. So here I'm going to place it. I'll leave 1 inch that allowance, but I'm not going to be needing any that too. I'll close it, but I'll just do it in case you're not using a stretchy fabric. The space between here will be 1 inch for the back dart. So I'll pin it. Also pin this one too. I'm also going to pin it. I'll be using a zipper for this. I'll be using a zipper. So and if this is the center, this is the back, the center part. I'm bringing out my zipper allowance. So I'll come out by this point, I'll come out by 1 inch for my zipper allowance. So I'll connect it. That will be my zipper allowance. 1 inch zipper allowance. So I'll connect it. So it depends on how, if you don't want your back low or you don't want it tight. So you come down by 1 inch or 1.5 inches. I'm coming down by 1.5 inches for 1 inch. Then I'll make a mark here for me to indicate and also make a mark here. So I'll cut every other thing. So I'll just draw this line out for me to know that it's this line that I'm going to follow. So I will draw this also. So I will unpin it, then cut it out. I'll connect from here to the back. So this is our back. Then I'll do my nipple to nipple. Remember that you brought out 1 inch zipper allowance. Remember that you brought out 1 inch zipper allowance. So I will mark this 1 inch. So from here I'll take nipple to nipple 3 inches, then half inch on both sides. And I'll connect it straight. I'll connect it straight. I'm going to close this dart. I'm just showing you if you're making this. So if you're making if you don't want to close your dart, this is the way you're going to connect your dart. So this is it, the back is ready. I'll cut it. I'm going to cut 2 pieces for the I don't want to do any joining here, so I'm closing up every dart, even for the front. I'll close up the dart. So like I said, I don't want any dart. I'll slash this. I'll slash it and close it back because I want the dart to just be 2 pieces. I don't want different. I don't want to do joining. This is just like a ready to wear, so you don't need much dart or you don't need any dart at all. So this is the back. This is the way I'm just going to fold it and cut 2 pieces for the back. And here also I'm going to place this together. Place it together and close up the dart and cut just 1 piece for this. I'm cutting it here will be on fold. I'm cutting 1 piece. I'll add half inch allowance to this point. Maybe add half-inch allowance to the upper part. Then that's just it. This is stretchy, so I'm not going to add in too much allowance. I'll just add allowance to it. And when I'm cutting this, I'm adding allowance, half-inch allowance to every part. I also add half-inch allowance to this. So this is your deeper allowance. You can match it. So I'll cut everything and show you guys how to join it. So like I said, I've pinned it to this is on fold. I don't want the front part to have any joining. So I'm going to place it like this, pin it and cut it out without any joining. So you can add, I'm still going to trim out all this side allowance because I'm not needing it. So this upper part I'm going to add half-inch too. So the center line I'm going to add half-inch. That is the cuff part. I'll add maybe a little allowance. It's not up to half-inch. Look, I'm not going to. This my fabric is stretching. It's stretching. Okay, I just made a mistake. I'm using the part that is not stretchy, but it's just. I'll add half-inch to this also. So this is what we have. I'll notch the center part. I'll pin it. So this is what I have now. So once you have it like this, I'm going to place it now and cut out the middle line.
The next thing now is to cut the down part, that is the pencil part of the skirt part of the dress. The first is to remove your half length to get your full length. A half length is 14 inches, then her full length is 57 inches, but I added extra 4 inches so that it will flow like the one on the thumbnail. Then the next thing, I'm cutting the front first. You mark you bring out 1 inch allowance as if you are cutting the back of the skirt. After that, you go down by 8 inches for your hip location or whatever you choose to use for your hip location. Then you minus your half length to get your knee length. This is not necessary, but I was just marking it that. Also, so I didn't get her knee length because she sent it. I don't know her in person. So from the slit length that she sent to me, I went up by 5 inches to get her knee length. The next thing after that is to take your waist circumference. Please, you are starting it from that 1 inch line. Then take your hip circumference. On the hip, I'm not adding any allowance to this. So on the hip I measured 10. On that knee length I measured 9. Then the other line I measured 8. Then the full length I measured 7.5 inches. That's how I got my pencil. I just want it to come out straight, not too penciled and not so free. So that's why I made it to be so. I minus, instead of adding I was minusing, but I just used the exact hip measurement. So that is what you need to do there, but you can just draft out your normal pencil. So this is my pencil, but I ended up not using this because I don't want it to come out too pencil, like the down part. Her picture, she was just standing. When she's moving, to be like, when it's too tight, it will not give you that flowing look. So I had to recut this because I don't want the down part to be too penciled. So once you have it, this is the front part. I notched that slit line. That is the slit allowance. So I'm going to recut this, but if you want it to be this pencil, then you can just go ahead. So I decided to recut it, then add 1 inch for it to be very long again. I added 1 inch to that front part that I just finished cutting. So after marking that 1 inch, on that 1 inch line, I decided to go out by 2 inches. So on the hemming line, I went up by 2 inches. Then on that knee length, I'm going to just connect it, just as if you're making an A-line skirt. This will come out not to be an A-line skirt, and it will come out not to be a pencil skirt, but it will just fall straight. So I didn't add any allowance to the upper part. I just, from the knee line, I didn't add any allowance to the knee line. I just added allowance to that hemming line. So I went up by ½ inch to just make it to come out a bit curved and not to be too sharp on that end. So once you have it like this, you are going to cut it out. That is what I'm going to be using. So I'll use it and cut out the back exactly the same, adding the same zipper allowance. Just use the front and place it and cut the back. So it's just the same. The slit allowance will serve as the zipper allowance there. So this is it. Here is what I have after cutting it. This is where the down is looking. So instead of, if you don't want it to come out this way, you can just do the normal pencil, or you can just go out by 1 inch instead of 2 inches or 1.5 inches. So that is just it. So the next thing now is to cut the slits. That is the front slit. You are going to keep it on fold, then iron it out very well so that you get the middle line, that is the midpoint line. So once you have it, open the front, open it, turn the right side, then choose where you want your slit to be, if you choose the right hand side or the left hand side. So from that middle line, you are going to place your chalk and mark 4 inches all the way down from the waist to the down part. Mark your 4 inches. I want the slit to be on the right hand side, so mark 4 inches. That is what you are going to do. After marking the 4 inches line, you are going to slit it open. You are going to open it all the way from up to down or down to up. So once you have it, this is it. I'm going to notch where her slit is going to stop. That is the measurement that she sent to me. So after that, you are going to place it on each other and join it with that 1 inch that you removed as the slit allowance. You are going to join it back, but you are not going to close it up. Just stop where you want the slit to stop, and that is just it for the down part. So I've gone ahead to cut the corset. I said I don't want any joining, and I've also joined the cup. That is the cup part. You need to join it for before you cut the rose. So after joining the cup part, you are going to measure it round just like the way I did. So after measuring it, I measured 20.5. I added 1 inch, that is making it 21.5. That 21.5, you are going to divide it by 2. So whatever you have, you mark it, then get the length of your rose, the length of the rose. So I decided to make it big. Mine is 24 inches long because I want it to be very full. So once you get it on that line that you divided, on that 21 inches line, you are going to connect it slantly like this. Once you measure the round curve, divide by 2, you mark it, then connect it slantly like the way I did. Make sure that that pointed part is closed. So this is it, then you cut it out.
two piece. Here is two piece. What I'm going to do now is to hold it and run a straight stitch up to this place. Please make sure you close this end. Just run a straight stitch. I'll close it up and show you how the next thing to do.